I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
All right, Chelsea fans, welcome back to the London is Blue YouTube channel. That's right, video-specific content this time. What we're doing, all right, is we're going to be previewing the West Ham match. We've got myself, as always, Brandon, Dan, and Nick joining me as well. Nick, obviously enjoying this relaxing Sunday afternoon.
Brought to you by Uinta Lime Pilsner. Delicious.
Can't be how we pronounce that brewery's name.
Sure. Uinta?
Anyways, it's a tricky one.
UINTA?
Dan, so we're obviously going to do, we have our prediction lineups, but before we get into that, we kind of have to like set the stage a little bit for everyone out there. So I normally run through the table. I'm feeling a little bit tired. This is our fourth match in a little, week and a half or so. I'm going to have to pass to you on this one.
Well, the Liverpool Asterix are at number 1, 86 points. They've won the league. Manchester City, 63 points at the time of recording. Leicester City, 55 and third position. We, 54th position in 54 points in fourth position. Wolverhampton in fifth. Manchester United in sixth, 52 points and 49 points respectively. And then there's some other teams like Tottenham, Arsenal, some mid-table fodder that's continuing to see if they can punch up for a potential Europa League spot, which is quite good. On the flip side, and one of the teams that we are going to be playing and talking about today, West Ham United, currently in a three-way tie for the second team to be relegated. Norwich City looks very much done and dusted, but as of time of recording, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Aston Villa only separated on goal difference, all sitting on 27 points currently, and staring at potentially the drop off of the proverbial cliff, Nick, onto a return to the championship.
It is. It's pretty wild down there. If you look at, Brighton, who have had a really good run since coming back to the Project Restart. They're at 33 points, comfortably in 15th, ahead of Watford on 28 and 16th, West Ham, Bournemouth, Villa on 27 points, and then poor old Norwich. They're tragic, man. They're just not. They ain't it. So it is. You always think about this time of year where you don't want to be playing either side of the table, really. Teams that have a lot to play for. You want to be playing that middle section who are kind of comfortable. They know that they're going to be in the league next year. They don't really have a whole lot to play for. They're at a cup competitions, all that kind of stuff. So I anticipate, Brandon, that we are going to have a fight on our hands on Wednesday because West Ham need points like a motherfucker.
Yeah, so their form guide, they lost to Liverpool 2-3. It's actually pretty respectable for them. They got thumped 3-1 by Southampton, who are on a run in this late half of the season. They beat Southampton 3-1, which is a surprise because of Southampton's form. They've lost to Arsenal, which these days is not a great result for anyone. They lost to Wolves 2-0, and they've recently lost to Spurs 2-0. So the trend is that they've lost all of their matches since coming back, and they have yet to score a goal since coming back. And since we know that conceding goals is a problem for us right now, hopefully we can get a second consecutive clean sheet even. Because as Chelsea's form, in case you've forgotten, we beat Spurs 2-1. We drew Bournemouth 2-2. We hammered Everton 4-0. We beat Villa 2-1. We beat Manchester City 2-1 as well. So if you're looking at the form guide, we are in significantly better form. Again, though, West Ham trying to avoid relegation. If you look at some of the top-level stats, Dan, again, we're scoring less than 2 goals a match. We're conceding over 1 goal per match. Not a great situation for us. The good news is that West Ham are scoring, on average, less than they're conceding, which is why they're at the bottom of the table. How about this one? We both have the same amount of clean sheets.
Ugh.
Not a stat that I am proud of in any capacity. I think the thing to me that I would highlight is the fact that West Ham have not been able to find a goal since they have returned, which is a positive for us. And that we have been able to score even after some frustrating days out against Villa and against City and even against Leicester here. And so that makes me excited because there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of enthusiasm, and I think Frank currently has the team hyped up enough to go into a match like this with so much on the line. And we have to think about the fact that we'll know the results of the United match, the Arsenal match, and the Leicester match all before we take the field for this game. And so you have, some pretty interesting matchups coming up. I mean, Arsenal have played Norwich, so they'll probably have gotten 3 points. You'll have United for playing Brighton, which Brighton have been tricky for some teams, so that could be interesting. And if Leicester were to drop points to a one King Carlo, Ancelotti's Everton, that could mean that we could jump Leicester with a win in this match. So ultimately, there's a lot on the line, not just for West Ham, but for us as well, Nick.
Yeah, I kind of think back to the first match, the first time we played them, which was back in November. And, this was right after Chelsea had gone on that, nice little winning streak and then had battled City really hard at the Etihad, and came away with a very narrow defeat. And it was the first match that I can remember of these bottom of the table teams hunkering in, putting 10 behind the ball, and hitting us on the break. And West Ham did that to great effect at the Bridge. I would anticipate that is going to be their MO in this game. And we've had, I think just fair to point out, we've had some struggles against those types of teams this year. So your hope is that Chelsea have done their homework, that they have figured out, obviously Christian Pulisic being a dynamic winger is helpful. Maybe you'll see Olivier Giroud in there to play balls in behind, or, we'll figure out some combination thereof to kind of break down that block 10. That's what you kind of have to look at here is, it's not as if West Ham are going to come out guns blazing, most likely. I think they just need a point probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's David Moyes. You, for the most part, know what you're going to expect. I mean, he's had a really long career and hasn't done anything too wild. I mean, we saw him at United even. He had better players and he still played pretty unattractive football. So, again, that's what you're going to get. They're going to be hard to break down. They have given up 5 goals in the last 3 matches, again, which is a good sign for us. So, talking about your lineups, Nick, I know you kind of pulled us into that because that personnel that go out to play West Ham is going to be very important. And I think Frank has admitted that he looks ahead at matches as well. And this will be, again, our 4th match in a little over a week and a half, in less than 2 weeks. So he's going to rotate. Absolutely. So real quick, my starting 11 for this match would be Kepa back in goal, Azpilicueta right back, Rudiger and Christensen, assuming he didn't have a head injury. I think he's earned his place to go back, even though I'm not as big fan. And then Alonso on the left back, which apparently he's our official left back at this point because Emerson was not great today.
Also, the results with Alonso in the lineup this
that stat was
look.
No, I said it's wild. That stat is wild that's there. Yeah, that we've essentially won 80, 90% of our matches when he starts. So anyways, Alonso's in. My middle, I'm going to go 4-3-3. So I've got Jorginho holding, Kovacic and Barkley as well. I thought those two had good games in the FA Cup, so they should – and they haven't played a lot of minutes, so I think they've deserved that spot. And then up top, I've actually got Pulisic, Giroud, and Pedro. Pedro over Willian because he would be much more fresh. Willian looked absolutely gassed after FA Cup. And I'm kind of spoiled because you can put him on, and if you need to make a change, it's not that big of a deal. You got subs to use in this new format. So I actually think that Frank will be a little bit more open, especially when we saw what he did in the FA Cup. You're not cutting it, you're gone, you're out. He will make the changes. So, I said, go for legs. Pedro, I think, can run people down, try to make, cause some mistakes in the back line. And he's also one of our creative players, so hopefully we can try to squeeze through that block 8 or 10. So that's where I'm at. Dan, what about you?
I agree with a lot of your assessment, not all of it, but I do agree. Kepa will be back between the sticks. I think it's Aspie and Alonso on the wings that for the defense. That makes a ton of sense as well. I'm going to say that after his performance today, I would really want to see Zuma partnered with Christensen over Rudiger at the moment. I really, my concern with the West Ham is they're going to try to long ball. They're going to try to take advantage of set pieces, and I'm going to want some height in the box for when that happens. And so if you give me Alonso, if you give me Zuma, even Christensen can get up. Rudiger is not our best aerial defender by any way, shape, or form. Then I think you go forward to the two-man Kova Conte situation. You go forward again with a 3 of Willian, Mount, and Pulisic, and then you go with Giroud leading the line. I think that is where I expect Frank to go, especially with Giroud getting a full rest today, which is fantastic for him. Tammy playing the full match, and then Mount coming off early, Pulisic coming off with some time to spare, and needing a crucial 3 points, Nick.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time here due to just kind of anticipating who might need a rest, who whatever. So I think Kepa's back. I think Aspie is firmly at right back through the end of the year. I would like to see Zuma and Christensen in the middle personally. And I think if Christensen's healthy, I think those are 2 good shouts there. And I think Alonso, I think we all have that as our kind of right and left back settled. I would go with a midfield 2 of Conte and Kovacic to kind of balance out that pivot. I think Conte is kind of firmly our CDM right now. It's just the way that Frank wants to play him, and he hasn't looked leggy at all. He looks healthy. So let's knock on wood, and hopefully that is still a thing. And then I would see because I think part of our issue, and where I think Dan is kind of closer than Brandon maybe, is I think we need a true attacking midfielder, right? A cam, if you will. So I would go with a Pulisic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and Mason Mount 3 that can flex in different areas, because I agree that Mason Mount's so integral to the press. If you're not going to play Willian, then he has to be in there. So either one of those guys will have to play. And then I would play Giroud, because I think he's looked more effective than the minutes we saw from Tammy today. So I think that's what I would do.
I think the one sneaky thing to call out outside of the lineups, so there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter about Declan Rice, former Chelsea Academy individual, goes off to West Ham, been playing not just in a defensive midfielder role, but also in a center back role recently. Looked really good against Wolves in that regard individually, even though they got hammered. Curious if Frank might be doing a little scouting assessment, Brandon. Maybe trying to win him back.
Look, convenience. I mean, if there's no better time to scout than when you're playing a team. He's 6'1". He's still raw. Like, no, I don't get it. But look, if they are interested, there's no better time to do a scout. And obviously, I think you'd get to pull him pretty easily, because he would want to go from West Ham to Chelsea real quick. He's been pretty public about the fact that he would love to play with Mason again. And if it happened to be at Chelsea, I think it's more likely Declan comes to Chelsea than Mason goes to West Ham anytime soon. We'll wait and see.
The time that you would want to buy him is when we send them packing to the championship and we get him on a bargain basement price. So let's ruin their day. Let's put them to the sword early, have a comfortable run out, get Billy some minutes in the second half, get Reece some minutes, and then when he's on the parachute down, let's snag him and bring him back.
If the price is right, that's where I'm at.
Is he world class? No.
Not right now.
Not right now, no. But,
That's the gamble. You get them early, you turn them into it. So, all right. Let us know what your lineups are. If you even want to throw out a score prediction, we are not that brave, but we would be glad to have it down in the comment section. And lastly, follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, at London Blue Pod, because we have a lot more content there. But that's going to wrap us up. So, hey, it's game day, either today or tomorrow by the time you're watching this. Get excited. Chelsea undefeated since returning. Our quest for top 3, screw top 4. We're going top 3, baby, is alive and well. So, hey, that's going to wrap it up from us. Subscribe. And until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.